Hello, everybody, and welcome, welcome, welcome. Super excited that you are in the room tonight. So, I am extremely elated because I'm going to be talking to Merica Woods. She is one of our wonderful SheEdits clients, along with her daughter. So, you'll get to meet her and learn more about their journey and all of their successes through SheEdits. Glory be to God. If you are in need of scholarship assistance, I'm sure you are because most people who are on this page who are watching this videos need money for school. So if that's you, we would also love to help you through our program. We have tons of assistance that we offer. So we offer courses, we offer coaching, we offer a daily scholarship sent out to you. We offer customized scholarship lists. Anything that you need to be successful on your scholarship journey, including essay assistance, I didn't mention that, we will be by your side. So in order to get started with us, you can simply go to our website, SheEditsLLC.com, SheEdits LLC.com. You can sign up for our workshop that we host, and that we hold consistently. And then you can also sign up for our full program to get immediate access to all of our resources, some of which you'll hear about today. We've helped students win right now, I think over $2 million in scholarships, grants, and award money. Glory be to God. So we would love for you to be next. But I'm going to get out of the way and I want you to hear again from Merica Woods. So thank you, Merica, for joining us. I am really looking forward to our conversation. So if you can just introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about you, who you are, and then tell us about your daughter as well, what school she's going to, what year she's in, and what she plans to do.
Hi, my name is Merica Woods, and I am a working mother. So I'm extremely busy, like most working moms. And I have one daughter. She is a freshman at the University of Cincinnati, and she started school as exploratory studies, but she has now selected public relations with a minor in fashion merchandising.
Awesome. Thank you for that. So, how long have you been actively going through the scholarship process with your daughter?
I feel like we started late. We were kind of coming off of COVID, and we actually started the summer before her senior year. And that's when I was initially introduced to Brianna and She Edits. And I was like, oh, wow, we're already behind the eight ball.
How did you find out about SheEdits? I see a lot of people will tag us and post, or you'll hear about us word of mouth. You'll see me all over Facebook because I like, posting all the time. But how did you come in contact?
Yeah, we actually learned about it. She was involved in the Center for Leadership Development, CLD. She was going through their process for juniors and seniors, and I think they connected us through a workshop, and so that was my first introduction to She Edits. And I think so much of what you said really resonated with me. I loved how you talked about buying houses and cars and what that means, and how you would actually go about that process. And I'm like, oh, this makes so much sense. And the fact that you were local, I think, just was kind of another thing that I thought was a great idea, that um it could really be beneficial for my daughter.
Awesome. I love that. I don't think I knew that COD made that initial connection. I
Mhm.
love COD. I was a COD scholar when I graduated from high
Uh-huh,
school over 10 years ago.
uh-huh.
Crazy, but that's awesome. That's good to know. How did you decide to invest in She Edits? And did you have any hesitations or drawbacks? I asked that because a lot of parents, moms specifically, sometimes they'll be on the fence. They don't know whether or not we're a scam. They don't know when you're talking about money, people always like jump to it being a scam. But sometimes they may not feel like their investment is going to be worth it. Or did you feel that way? And what made you go ahead and pull the trigger and decide to sign up?
Yeah, that was completely me, because I maybe I was a stalker on your page for quite some time, because I know you do different webinars that are free, and I probably joined, I bet, three or four of those. Um, and every time I watched you talk and go through, your processes and your recommendations, I was always learning something. And then I want to say it kind of hit, Christmas of my daughter's senior year, and she had been accepted. out of state to University of Cincinnati, and I saw the number. And when we saw the number that, okay, this is what this is where she wants
Mhm.
to go, and this is how much it's going to cost. And I knew we had some savings, but not a lot. And I knew, oh man, I really need to get my act together. And you were the best resource I knew of, because what you had said made sense. The way you broke it down seemed manageable. Um, I knew because you were a resource that came from CLD, I knew you were reputable. So I never worried about you being a scam. It was just, you know, could I afford it? And I kind of went
Mhm.
back and forth with which program to
Mhm.
select. Um, and I ended up going with the lower tier
Mhm.
because it offered me the flexibility I needed.
Yep.
Um, but with the option that, I could always upgrade if I needed to.
Mhm.
So, um, so I get it. I get why moms, parents are concerned because, you've got that number out there. And
Mhm.
do you want to make the investment now? Or, are you still trying to put money away for that number in the future? And for us and for my daughter, it was the best investment we could have made.
Well, awesome. I'm very glad to hear that. And then I'm glad to hear you even say that we'll get into her successes, but that you signed up for the lower tier program that you still had success. I think some people think like the more, and I'll talk about what the programs are, but the higher one automatically means you'll get more scholarships. I would literally say it's 50-50. The clients who have signed up for our plus package or for our essentials program, they've gotten the same amount of results, literally. We just offer more hand holding in the more expensive program. But if you're really self-motivated and you can just take the time to focus and put in the work, then you'll have just as much success. So yeah, let's go ahead and talk about success. But before we do that, let me not get ahead of myself, but how did the scholarship process feel before starting with SheEdits? Describe your emotions.
Oh,
So yeah, just I'll let you go for that.
yeah. Confusing, overwhelming. I feel like the minute you get a kid that's a senior in high school,
Mhm.
everybody gets your email as a parent,
Yeah.
as a kid, and all these resources and uh, you know, things start coming at you from all over the place and do this and apply here. And then there's always, this sweepstakes, that sweepstakes, and, trying to figure out, oh, and the whole no essay scholarship, where you're going to focus your time. Everybody wants the easy money. But so I know, we were very overwhelmed. We had talked to some folks who had gone through the process years before us, and they're like, oh, you don't win scholarships unless they're coming from the university. It's a lot of work for no money. And so a lot of people are out there discouraging parents and kids from really spending time. But um, I think my one thing I had preached to my daughter, and I hear you preach it too, is you can graduate from school debt free.
Yeah.
And it's all about, I think, that mindset that that's what you're going to do, and being willing to put in the work.
Yeah.
And she was willing to put in the work, and we were willing to work together, as a team. It was not always easy. There were a lot of times, like, I would find the scholarships and like kind of organize them for her.
Mhm.
And then I would give them to her, and I'm like, okay, you need to write an essay on this, and you need to write an
Yeah.
essay on that. And she would be that would not be what she wanted to focus on. She
Yeah.
wanted to focus on,
Yeah.
living her senior life and her friends and her, boyfriend and social events.
Mhm.
But, she did eventually buy into, okay, I need to put some work in on this, and I'm going to get this. This is going to be the outcome, and this is going to be the benefit to me in the long term.
Yeah.
So, so I think we went from being overwhelmed and confused to confident and um, feeling resourceful, knowing where to look and how to spend our time. So I think confident would probably be the one single word that kind of explains our emotions kind of after we kind of gone through the process for a while.
I love that. And I'm really glad to hear you say that. I remember going through the process myself when I was a high schooler, being a first generation college student, and just not knowing where to start, what to do. There's so many resources out there, and it can be overwhelming if you go on Google and type in college scholarships or scholarship essays. Like it's just there are so many pages and pages of results and so many things that are just coming at you. And like you said, you're getting so many emails, and then you have all of the other senior things you're supposed to be doing, like applying for college, and then the fun things like prom and homecoming and just all the senior events. And so it can be a lot. And so that's what I really wanted to do through our program is just streamline and simplify the process. If you've taken one of my workshops, you'll hear me say, I'm just a very simple, straightforward gal. I just like things that are just clear cut with an easy path. And so that's one thing that we really strive to do is just make everything streamlined and simple so you don't have too much on your plate. And confidence, I'm glad that you have gained confidence after joining. That really makes me feel good. So since starting, and can you tell us when you started, approximately how many applications has she turned in?
So, like I said, I was a kind of a lurker since the summer of 22. And
Okay.
then I actually became a paid member, or we became paid members, I want to say January of 23. So
Okay.
we did a lot of work. And I love how you call it scholarship season. We
Mm,
did a lot of work, you know, January, February, March,
mm,
April,
yep.
doing a lot. And so I went back and looked, and she actually submitted 80 applications.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That
And
blows me out of the water. I did not submit 80 applications when I was in high school.
yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah. And she won 11.
Wow.
So
That
she
is
won
incredible.
12,500 outside scholarships. And then she also was awarded a full tuition scholarship at the University of Cincinnati.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So
Congratulations.
so between the two, our final bill that we had to pay out of pocket was mm, maybe a couple of $1,000s.
Wow. Oh my goodness. That is
Yeah.
incredible. Thank you, Lord. So how much was her tuition then? The full ride, if she hadn't gotten scholarships, how much would that have been?
The tuition I want to say was like right around 15,000.
Wow.
And then room and board is the other
Mhm.
15 approximately. So, and I will say that, so if I look at the scholarships she won, the kind of the breakdown, if you will, um, she won one, two, three, I would say four scholarships that are considered national,
Mhm.
but two of those are very, very narrow. One was a military scholarship because of her grandfather, and one was uh, a mental health related scholarship.
Mm.
Um, she won the Burger King scholarship, which I
I don't think I knew that.
yeah, which, that was the very first one she won. But then the other scholarships she won were, some of them were very local, like her middle school, her Girl Scout troop, um, three local, two local sorority organizations, one local girls and women's organization, and then one little bit bigger. Um, she run the Circle City Classic Scholarship, so
That's awesome.
so that would be the that's a little bit bigger than a local sorority scholarship. So so I mean, and some of them were. She had one that was big, and she had a lot of little $500 ones, and
Hmm.
people are like, "Oh, I don't want to waste my time on a $500." I'm like, that pays for books,
Oh
that
yeah.
the housing. I mean, housing for a college campus is crazy expensive. And so, I, $500, I'll take it in my pocket. It's for
Absolutely.
her.
Oh yeah, I remember when I was in school and looking at my itemized statement, and there was a fee on there that said general fee, and I was like, "What is a general fee?" They're just like just a fee for everything. And then my parking pass was like seven hundred
Oh,
dollars,
yeah.
and so all of that money adds up. But that's incredible. I love to hear. I just love to hear the news. But one thing that you said that stood out to me is she applied for so many scholarships, and 11 out of 80, like that's not a huge amount. I don't know what that percentage is off the top, but she did it consistently. She put in the work, and it's a numbers game, a lot of it. Like you have to be putting in high quality applications, finding the right scholarships, then putting in the high quality applications and essays. You have to also do that, which is one thing we help with, but you have to do the work consistently and put in lots of applications. I don't think I applied for 80 scholarships, but I do know that I put in scholarship applications all through junior year and senior year, and then all throughout college until I graduated from college. I kept on applying, and that's how I was able to graduate debt free. And that's how she's had so much success and gotten so many results. So I love to hear that. For everybody watching, take note. You really have to put in that work. One thing you also mentioned were those narrow scholarships, and that's one thing that for everybody watching, we also really break down on our workshop how to find scholarships that are specific to you and to your life, and how winning those how applying for those scholarships will really increase your chances of winning them. So when she talks about those narrow scholarships, that's something that we definitely love to break down for you. But what has been the biggest key to her scholarship success?
Um, I think a couple of things, keep being organized and consistently looking at what needed to be done, and getting, knowing due dates and getting them in on time. But I think the other thing I learned from you was that, or that we learned from you was that, um, just because I said there was 80 applications doesn't mean she wrote 80 different essays. Um, she probably had, I bet, maybe 5 essays, and those essays she was able to tweak to use them for multiple applications. So it realizing that you can reuse and kind of just change some things on your essays to answer the prompts that are provided, that was a huge time saver.
Yeah.
Um, but I think being consistent, consistently applying and staying organized. Plus, we watched the videos, the modules,
Yeah.
and even if we'd go back and watch something again a second time, I was always still learning more tips. So it's like, you watch it once and you miss something, and then you go back the second time and you're like, oh, that's a great tip too.
Mm.
So I think that would probably be the best, the scholarship success, the keys to her success.
Awesome. I love that. So for you, what was the biggest takeaway of our scholarship course or our scholarship process?
Um, for me as a mother and trying to help her with the process, um, I think helping her find the narrow scholarships, because I think just as a senior parent, you're like, oh, let me find scholarships, and you start Googling, and you end up with so much crap that's not going to help you with anything. And so the way you kind of broke it down and how you taught us to start and think about your kid. And I remember being on one of the Wednesday night coaching sessions, and I remember thinking, well, my daughter, she's an average student, she's not an athlete, she's in some clubs and activities, but she's nothing, to me she's great, but to the
Yeah.
world she's nothing, fabulous. But then Jessica kind of walked me through, and she's like, what about this and what about this? And you start thinking about what makes her unique. And there are things that make her unique. And those are the things she taught me to really hone in on so that I could help Merrin find scholarships. And then those are the ones that we started winning. And she had done a
Yep.
lot of work with uh, different multi-ethnic groups at her school and diversity inclusion groups and activities. And probably 3 of the scholarships she won was because of that work she had done.
Wow.
So I think, making sure that you really focus and narrow on what your kids' strengths are. And don't worry if they're not if they're not that 4.0 student.
Yeah,
They don't
absolutely.
have, my daughter was not, you do not have to be to win scholarships.
Yeah, that is so key. It's so funny you mentioned Jessica, the client that I interviewed a couple of days ago. They said that was their favorite part was Jessica. And I was like, I know, I get it. She's awesome. So I love to hear that you learned from her. I think it was you. I remember you being on one of the coaching sessions and Jessica mentioned something about the military.
Mhm.
And then I remember you reached out a couple weeks ago and said you had taken her advice from that coaching session and used it to get a military scholarship. Do you mind talking about that a little bit?
Yeah,
It's like kind of big
absolutely.
in my mind.
Yeah. I was just trying to understand, how to kind of um, position that, and there were some very specific questions that they were asking, and so she encouraged me to have my daughter really sit down and interview. It was you had to be the grandchild of someone that had been on a certain aircraft carrier, and so Jessica encouraged her to sit down and interview my dad and kind of get the answers from him, and to make it personal by finding that like a little emotional heartstring, heart pull, something to tug on the heart. And that's what she did, and she put together a great scholarship or a great application. And she ended up winning $2,000 from the association, which was more than we were expecting. uh,
Yeah. That's incredible. I love that. I just love what I keep hearing you say is you did the work, you showed up, she put in the application, she wrote the essay, she did the interview. Like, I love all of that. For everybody watching, it really takes the work that you put into. We'll give you the resources, we'll give you the blueprint, the strategies, but putting in the work is so crucial. So I love to hear you say that. So out of everything that we offer, so for I'll do a little shameless plug, but for those who may not know, so we have our program called Scholarship Success Simplified, and that's everything that you need in one program. So we have our Essentials program. So that's our lower tier one, and that comes with our scholarship course, our essay course, our 5-week cohort sessions where you get to meet with us for 5 consecutive weeks and we'll go through the scholarship course with you. Then we also have our monthly small group coaching sessions. So once a month, you can get on a coaching call with myself or Jessica. It's mostly Jessica, but I'm on there as well sometimes. And you can ask your questions and get feedback every single month. We send out a daily scholarship. So Monday through Friday, you're getting a scholarship notification from us. And you also get access to our library of bonus scholarship trainings and interviews. And then with our plus package, you get everything that I just mentioned. So the courses, the coaching, the daily scholarship, but you also get one-on-one assistance. So we will do one-on-one coaching sessions with you where it's just you or you and your child and the scholarship coach. You get essay assistance. So we'll partner you up with one of our essay editors and they will help you craft or and edit your essays. And then we also will create customized scholarship lists for you. We'll go out and find those narrow scholarships and every month put them on a nice little PDF for you to apply for. But with that being said, back to you, Merica. Out of all of those things, what was your favorite part, or what has been your favorite part of our program? And that could even be one of our team members. It doesn't even have to be one of the things that I mentioned. But yeah, favorite part that you feel like really sets you apart.
well, timing is everything in life. And I think that for us, the fact that we started the same time you started the cohorts.
Yes.
And so, you know, I was just getting into the program and you started the cohorts. So it was kind of seamless where I could learn along with your different instructors. And that helped me kind of really set up, for success. Um, it you know, we did have to put the work in, but you laid it out, like you just said, you laid it out exactly what we needed to do. And there was, homework, if you will, that we did. And it just really helped, you know, put us in the right frame of mind so that we could win those scholarships. So,
Mhm.
um, I didn't always like having to do it, because,
Yeah.
every Wednesday for the 5 weeks, I think it was. But I think that once again, that consistency was key because it kept us it kept me focused. I kept my daughter focused. It kept us, front of mind what we had to do. The timing for us was just perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember you were on the first cohort that we had. I remember that because I had that idea and I was like, what was happening was people would sign up for the program. They would get the course with the pre-recorded videos and they would start, but they would fall off.
Yeah.
So I was thinking to myself, how can I give people accountability and give people that structure and that kind of routine and time tool to help them actually get through all 10 modules. So the cohorts have been a huge success.
Mhm.
Just the fact that so Adriana runs them now. But just the fact that you can get on, consecutively and we hold you accountable for those 5 weeks has just really helped a lot. So I'm glad I hear you say that.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and it also gave us, weekly we had somewhere to ask questions.
yeah. Hmm.
And sometimes I had questions and sometimes I didn't, but then there were other folks asking questions and they were asking questions about things I may not have even thought about. So it's like I feel like we learned from each other. So, and it was a small group, which was
Yeah.
helpful, but um so much is recorded. I could always go back and watch, my cohort or, the Wednesday meetings. I think that's just invaluable.
Yay. I love that. I love it. I love it. I love it. That's great. So a couple more questions as we wrap up. So what advice would you give to other parents who are thinking about signing up or going through the process with us? So parents who may be on the fence, they think it sounds great. They're listening to you speak now. They're like, maybe I should do it, but like maybe I could figure it out on my own. What advice would you give them?
Um, just do it sooner rather than later. If you're willing to put in the work, it's not a magic pill, but if you're willing to put in the work and follow the steps that you and your team provide, um, you're going to have success. I have no doubt about that. But just do it. Don't wait. I wished we had started a little bit earlier. Um, but we didn't. It is what it is. So, um, but I would say, yeah, do it now, do it sooner.
Awesome. I love that. Thank you. Last question. Is there anything else that you would like to add?
um, no, I think don't just think of it as a one-time course where you're going to go through it once and be done. Think of it as almost like a binder or the modules you can go back and use as reference because there's so many times I've gone back because it's like I can remember you said something and it's
Yeah.
like exactly did she say about that, and I've gone back and used them as reference tools and I still do that. So I think that's key. um reaching out to you, reaching out to Jessica. The Wednesday night session is the coaching session. I think um once again is just I really valued that time. So I think it's a great program, and I think I like the way you've structured it. I think it's very logical. It's simple, and it's not rocket science, but it's you got to be willing to put in the work.
Absolutely. I love that. Well, thank you so much for speaking with me today, Merica. I truly appreciate all your kind words, and the encouragement to anybody else who is thinking about working with us. We would love to work with you. Again, like I mentioned earlier, I remember going through the process myself when I was a mom, or when I was going through it with my mom when I was a senior. And so I know firsthand the feelings and the overwhelm and the stress and just the great unknown. So that's why I started SheEdits to help simplify that process and be a resource for other people since I was able to graduate debt free. So, again, for anybody watching, we would love to work with you. If you want testimonies and if you want the experience of graduating debt free, we would love to be a part of that journey. So, again, all you have to do is just go to our website, SheEditsLLC.com. You can sign up for our workshop, or you can just dive into our full program. Either one of those options is going to be a great fit for you. So thank you again, Merica. Thank you to everybody watching. Hit us up if you have any questions, info at SheEditsLLC.com. That's the email. And we would love to work with you soon, Lord willing. Thank you again, Merica.
Thank you. Take care.